Discussion possible action on accepting the resignation of Police Chief Raupp. As you're aware, Chief Raupp tendered his resignation as police chief. We're grateful for the chief's dedicated service to the village over the last number of years, and we wish him nothing but the best in the future. You know, there was some issues that we had, so in the February meeting, I told Chief, you know, let's throw everything out on the table. You throw what you have, I'll throw what I have, and discuss them. And it was a very, very good meeting. So much so that after the meeting, he shook my hand and said this is what we needed. That we thought that things were gonna be going forward. You know, then the minutes come out and they got tore down. And I don't know, after that, you know, I mean, he sent the same message to the attorney that the meeting was good, but when the minutes came out, I don't know, something changed between that meeting and when the minutes came out. Nevertheless, we wish him nothing but the best and look forward to moving forward.
So, I'll speak on this part since, I am concerned with us moving forward with either a chief or if Jeremiah becomes chief, finding a police officer to fill in that spot regardless. I had talked to Chief multiple times after several meetings, and I knew he was frustrated. I did not know it was to this point. So his resignation kind of caught me off guard, but with what I've heard, what he's told me, what I've had other people tell me, and from what you have told me, and what I've seen at different meetings, I'm concerned that we are not going to be able to just find a police officer to fill either of those positions for the fact that we've now micromanaged that department. And, I mean, why, you know, like Chuck brought it up, why are we at the committee levels doing time cards? That is not what the committee is there for. At least that's my opinion on what the committee is not there for. So it bothers me that we now have all this stuff on Facebook, we have all this stuff in the meetings, out of meetings, behind meetings, whatever. Police officers are not beating down doors to go find jobs right now, and they're definitely not beating down our door to find a job. So that, I'm seriously concerned with this. And to I don't know, I mean, if this started seriously from a disorderly conduct, I don't understand it. But.
I mean, I said, we put everything out on the table on the February meeting, and I thought that we had things.
Yep, and I heard that, and he thought so too, and from what I heard, the minutes did not reflect fully what the meeting was. I was not able to attend that meeting. I wish to God I was there, but.
I wish you would have been too, because everybody that was at that meeting said that they
It looked accurate to me.
was very accurate.
And I thought everything was grand when he left. I thought we all were on the same page.
He smiled, walked out the door, shook Gary's hand, said everything's great.
And Tina came and Gerb came and they're not on that committee. The lawyer was there, Mike. I just assumed everything was, I was
2.5
not
hour
expecting
meeting.
that. And if he wants to leave, I mean,
More than happy to.
I'm not, I didn't.
Am I out of order if I ask, can I say something?
Right now,
Huh?
citizens wishing you heard is over with.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I definitely understand everyone's concerns. Chief has gone above and beyond. He was going to the schools and having lunch with the kids. He created the contract with Orfordville. He's done a wonderful job.
Yeah.
And I know I think a lot of you are here tonight hoping that we will find a way to bring Chief back. And I'm not sure that that's a possibility at this point in time. I'm not sure that that's what Chief wants. So I'm sorry, I do understand your concerns. Chief is wonderful, he waves at everyone, he makes everyone feel at home, he makes Orfordville feel like a community, like a home community, like you feel like you're in that small town community where that chief is there, you know, if you have a question, you can stop him, you can flag him down and he will help you. So I understand, I absolutely understand why everyone is sad and I understand why everyone is here. I think I speak for the whole board when I say we're sorry to see him go.
Yeah, and I think that when he handed the other night, it couldn't be official. I would like to say that if I can. I'm not sure. We have to be careful, I know personnel stuff, but when he handed this in, it was after a meeting, and it was after an adjourned meeting, and it was not on the agenda. So at that point, we can't accept it officially. So he was not, his resignation is tonight, not that night. And I know that there are, from my understanding, you know, pictures and videos of that meeting. I spoke to him out loud. It was said, nothing was said. That's not true. I thanked him right there in the moment for all of his community service, for all the community events. I'm involved in a lot of them. So I know his involvement, and that means a lot to me. To have our force, whether it's our public works or our police force or whatever, involved. So some things are nice, you know, put out. Unfortunately, sometimes the whole story isn't always told. So I think what Candy said is true. But just so you know that there's deeper feelings here, but we also have, you know, there's other things we have to abide by.
I guess the thing that kind of bothers me is, if he really was upset about the minutes, thinking that they weren't true.
Right.
He had the opportunity at the last meeting to request corrections to him, and there was nothing.
No concerns, please.
No, it was, I mean, so, I don't know where not being happy with those minutes is coming from. Cause he certainly could have he had the opportunity to make corrections, and he knows that because he made corrections the month before on,
It's fell apart, so far.
yeah, that was cell phone. So,
So for those that, I haven't met most of you. I've lived here for about, let me get this wrong, I think it's been 4 years. My name's Nikki. I do, on the side, outside of this position, I do the block party and I'm doing movies in the park. I've had the privilege of working with Chief hand in hand because those are put on by the emergency management teams. I enjoyed working with Chief. He brought a great extra piece to those events that I have done. I don't voice stuff on Facebook when it comes to the village stuff. You've seen me very quiet on purpose. There is a time and a place for everything, and it is not on Facebook, in my opinion. So I just want to correct a little bit here because everybody thinks we don't care for him and appreciate him, and everybody's being lumped into the same bucket, and that's not fair.
And I've been a resident over 30 years. People, there's been comments made that the board doesn't care. Nobody's on this board because they don't care. That's only, we're here for everybody. We're not here just to make sure that I get a playground by my house. That ain't the reason. That's the same reason I was on the school board for a couple terms, because I cared about the community, you know. And this is when I was on the school board. I was very unpopular then too, because we shut down Newark. It had to be done, and we got it done and built a new school, and we moved forward. And then, you know, there was people that were not on this board, you you know, they're running short, so I got on this board because I thought there was some injustice going on, that there was kind of one-sided, so I got on to make sure that the voice of everybody was heard. So to say that we didn't care about Brian is wrong. And it caught us, and when he stood up after that meeting and says, excuse me, I wanna bring a point, and he said he resigned, it caught us off guard. I'm still upset by it. But you know, begging him to come back, there was a problem there somewhere. And so, you know, I sat at these meetings, and we thought everything was going well. So to sit there and say that, you know, I'm only on this board for my agenda is crap. But if you vote me off, I'm still gonna be a resident of this village. So, you know, that's the only reason I'm here, is because I wanna make sure that everybody has a voice. So, thank you.
Well, if Aaron Rodriguez can't talk.
I think we've worked really hard in the last 7 years to improve this community for all the residents, economic development and other things. And we don't take this lightly, I can tell you I don't, at all. So, but you're welcome to any of the board meetings and all of them, and honestly, nobody ever comes until now. And that to me is discouraging. I've sat here for 10 years and I've worked hours that aren't at this table.
We get
It's
excited if there's
discouraging
time
that
available.
people don't come. I'm glad you are here. But I hope that you'll continue to come for the good reasons too, and to be involved and to hear other things.
Don't you think though, with all the unanswered questions that everybody has, that you should table this for a time, for a month?
People don't want to come if they're not going to be heard. Just saying.
We're economically pretty much let our people.
And why do you get to use it for your platform, but nobody
I
else
don't
gets
know,
to
I
speak?
can't, I don't know who's talking back there for the record.
It's
That's
good.
not-
Shauna is.
Okay, I can't even see you, Shauna.
Scott Anderson, 406 Prairie Lane. It says here we're encouraged to ask questions in this meeting, but we've been told we can't. And we're being
Somebody left this with the agenda,
Okay,
and it
my
says, please
apologies.
ask questions.
That was not from us.
If Facebook is not a forum to ask questions either, is there a time where we can ask genuine questions and get genuine responses in a public forum versus on a private phone call so other residents can hear those responses?
I mean,
I don't know that
the
we-
challenge with all that, right, I mean, just form of government, right, it's the election box, and then the village board meetings are the times when village work is being conducted. And so, there's no obligation, to allow citizen feedback. It's fairly common practice, I would say, in a majority of Wisconsin municipalities, but it's not necessary. And we get it, right? You guys want answers to your questions.
Hold on. Us guys, you represent us. We collectively want to solve these problems. You don't just represent the board or the legality of that, you represent the village as a whole. That's what you're hired for.
It's actually not correct. I actually represent the board.
So you don't represent us in any fashion?
No, I don't, but I mean, by extension, sure, right? I mean, because you elect the board and then I represent the board, but I represent the board. But to be clear, I represent the board from a legal perspective. I don't represent them from a policy perspective. I don't vote on policy. I don't give advice on policy. That's what the board does, right?
No, but I would think you would represent the village as a collective to try
No,
and.
he's here to represent the board and protect the board.
Okay.
So will the board ever speak with us?
You are free to communicate, you know.
Just not free to get a response.
What's that?
Just not free to get a response.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Which is
I
what everybody's
appreciate
problem
it.
is.
And everyone here, thank you.
I'm not sure that there's any action that's required with regard to a resignation. I don't think it's a vote to accept the resignation. His employment agreement provides that he voluntarily resigned and gave gave the notice under the contract, and I don't think there's any further action that the board needs to take on that.
So how would one of us, if we wanted to entertain this and get these questions and try and get answers to them?
You're free to do whatever you want. If you're gonna have multiple members that constitute a quorum of the village board, then you just have to notice it up as a meeting. But you're free to answer any questions you want on this.
So how would we word, like, if we have multiple board members there, how would we word that?
You know, I think you could do it broad enough to say, you know, discussion of police chief position or duties and responsibilities of police department, right? I mean, you can notice it up where it could be appropriate and discuss and have discussion on it. But so long as you're not discussing anything that would be deemed confidential within his personnel file or performance related or things of that nature, you're free to talk to anybody about it.
Yeah, and I might add, that was kind of disappointing to me. I was told all the Facebook comments, but I never received a phone call. Everybody knows my phone number, it's right, it's transparent. And also, I've been here for 36, I didn't want one phone call about it, in concern. And you know, many of you know me, and I never got a phone call. And that, so I just wanna say, you know, our phone numbers are up there too. And like Tim though, to speak to what Tim said, we can't always speak about personnel, right, issues, certain things, and certain things, like you said earlier, have to wait to come out. But we could have definitely, you know, would have been nice to hear from somebody instead of hearing all the everybody just goes on Facebook and creates this, right?
Unfortunately, that's the times we live in, yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanna mention that.
Okay. Moving to, department head reports.